Recently, someone asked a question on Facebook which I thought was truly fantastic. So I'm going to answer it here. Put simply, the questioner wanted to know, since Buddhism does not have a creator deity, how does it explain the existence of the universe? And I like this question for a couple reasons. First, it's provocative, it's thought-provoking. Beyond that, it's universal. It's right up there with people who ask, what happens to us when we die? Or, why do bad things happen to good people? All people from all places want to know how we got here. And by extension, how did the universe get here? Now, before we dive into the answer to that, we first need to tackle two very important words: creator, deity. Because the questioner is right, in Buddhism, we don't have one. Now, that said, some people make the mistake of thinking that Buddhism is a secular, materialistic philosophy, but this isn't true. Buddhism is a religion, and like all religions, it has a very unique, very involved cosmology. Put simply, all sentient beings travel the cycle of samsara, moving between realms upon death, based upon their positive or negative karma. In this cycle of rebirth, we may be reborn in a hell realm, a hungry ghost realm, an animal realm, the human realm, that's where we are now, the demigod realm, or the God realm. So in Buddhism, we don't just have one God, we have many. That said, we do not worship the gods, and we don't worship them for a couple of reasons. First, they're trapped in the same cycle of suffering, the same cycle of samsara that we are trapped in. They have minds filled with greed, anger, and ignorance, which cause them to do terrible things both to themselves and sometimes to each other. And we can see this by looking at any of the pantheons, be it the ancient Greek or Roman gods or the Egyptian gods. They don't always set the best example for humans to follow. For this reason, we as Buddhists do not bend the knee. We value enlightenment more than we value power. In addition to this, we must remember that the gods are in their own realm. They have their own problems. So our relationship to them is similar to a human's relationship to an ant. Sure, we see them, we know they're there, but we don't get very involved in the life of ants. Similarly, the gods know that the human realm exists, but again, they have their own problems. So it's very rare for them to intercede directly in the lives of human beings. Even if we wanted to worship them, frankly, it wouldn't get us very far. Finally, we do not worship the gods because even the gods recognize the transcendent power and authority of the Buddha and his enlightenment. In fact, in the Lalita Vistara Sutra, we find that before Buddha took rebirth here in the human realm, he was in the Tushita heavens teaching the gods the Dharma so that they too could realize enlightenment and break the cycle of samsara. And they were so impressed by his enlightenment, so respectful of his authority, that when he left their realm to take rebirth as a human, they lavished him with gifts and promised him protection on his journey. So for that reason, we don't worship the gods, but this still begs the question. There's so many creator deities across so many pantheons. How does Buddhism explain that? Well, simply put, they're all mistaken. As gods, they're very ego-filled. They're also very old. So they probably honestly believe that they created the world, created the universe. However, it's incorrect. But if the gods did not create the universe, how did it get here? Well, we can answer that question with the following syllogism. Something can't come from nothing. Something exists. Therefore, something has always existed. To put it simply, something can't come from nothing. The universe can't come from nothing, but the universe exists. So, one of two things are true. Either the universe did in fact come from nothing, or the universe has always been here. As Buddhists, we believe the latter. The Buddha taught that the universe has always existed in some form, but it is constantly transforming, constantly changing. So if we go back to what scientists tell us as the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang, from the Buddhist view, we don't argue with that point, but we would say that it wasn't the beginning per se. Rather, it was simply another cycle of transformation beginning. The universe existed before the Big Bang in a form that we simply can't comprehend as humans. And as it goes through its cycle of expansion and contraction, new worlds will be formed and created, and they'll be destroyed, continuing over and over again. This is the cycle of samsara. So, where did the universe come from? It didn't come from anywhere. It's just always been here. And the further we move along the path towards enlightenment, the better able we are to understand it. Amitabha.